Today, we're diving into two really powerful ideas that, believe it or not, are deeply connected. First, we're going to tackle why someone might seem to hate you for absolutely no reason. And then we'll flip the script and uncover how the toughest things you've been through might have actually forged your greatest strengths.
You know that feeling, right? It's so weird and uncomfortable. You're just minding your own business and you can just feel this negativity coming from someone. But for the life of you, you can't figure out what you did wrong. It's confusing, it's frustrating, and honestly, it can really get in your head.
But here's the thing, and this could be a total game changer for you. That negativity, it's almost never actually about you. The real story is way more complicated, and it's happening inside their head, not yours.
So, let's get right into it. The first big idea is this: it's not about you. And to really get why, we need to talk about a fascinating psychological concept called projection.
So, what on earth is psychological projection? Well, think of it as a kind of mental defense mechanism. When a person can't handle their own insecurities, or their own fears, or their own flaws, their brain, without them even realizing it, just kind of throws those feelings onto someone else. It's a whole lot easier to get angry at a problem you see in you than it is to admit you have that same problem yourself.
So what sets this off? Well, there are a few common triggers. Maybe your confidence just naturally makes them feel insecure, so it feels like a threat to their self-esteem. Or perhaps they feel threatened by your independence because they don't feel they have the same freedom. Sometimes they just need an easy target, someone to blame for their own stuff. And, sometimes your success just acts like a giant, painful mirror, showing them all the things they feel they haven't accomplished. It's just easier to dislike you than to face all that.
This really says it all, doesn't it? Their criticism is often a confession. So the next time you're on the receiving end of that kind of baseless negativity, try to remember this. What you're hearing probably isn't the truth about you. It's more likely a little window into their own private battles.
Okay, so we've established that their issue isn't really your issue. But that brings up a really interesting twist. What if the best way to deal with their stuff isn't about analyzing them at all? What if it's about finally understanding the incredible strength that was forged in your own past?
And this leads us to this amazing idea called the survivor's advantage. It's this concept that hardship doesn't just leave you with scars. It can actually be an intense training ground that builds these rare and incredibly valuable skills that other people just don't have.
You see, it all comes down to reframing your own story. So many of us carry around this belief that a difficult past makes us weak or broken. But this new perspective flips that completely. It asks you to consider that your past wasn't a burden, it was a boot camp. It was the very thing that prepared you uniquely for the world.
And listen, this isn't just some feel-good quote. This is backed by real psychology. There's a known phenomenon called post-traumatic growth, where people actually experience positive changes after going through adversity. And then there's stress inoculation, this idea that by overcoming challenges in the past, you've essentially vaccinated yourself, making you way more resilient for whatever comes next.
Okay, so if your past was your training ground, what are the actual skills you earned? Let's talk about your hidden superpowers, the strengths you probably have right now that you don't even give yourself credit for.
Think about it. If you grew up in a chaotic or unpredictable environment, you probably have this uncanny ability to stay calm when everyone else is freaking out. Why? Because chaos feels familiar to you. You also likely learned to read a room and the people in it with lightning speed. You had to, right? You'd pick up on the smallest changes in tone or body language. And all that constant scanning developed a powerful, super-tuned intuition. You learned to trust your gut because back then it was a survival tool.
Now, this is the most important part. You have to stop seeing these skills as just coping mechanisms. They're not. They are rare, high-value strengths. In your career, in your relationships, think about it. Staying calm under pressure? That's a superpower. Reading people accurately? That's a huge leadership skill. Don't underestimate this stuff.
So how do we put all of this together? How do you take this understanding of other people's projections and combine it with a real appreciation for your own hard-won strengths? Well, that's how you build a new, resilient mindset.
It really comes down to a simple three-step process. Think of it as your new internal operating system. First, when you feel that negativity from someone, you consciously depersonalize it. You just remind yourself, this is their projection. This is not my reality. Step 2, you immediately personalize your strength. You remind yourself of that calm, that intuition you have. You own it. And then step 3, you act from that place of understanding with a quiet confidence that doesn't need anyone else's approval.
And that leaves us with this final thought. Your story, it isn't defined by what happened to you. It's defined by what you choose to build from it. Recognizing these hidden superpowers is the first crucial step. So, the real question is, what are you going to build with them now?